Hello Pokemon fans, I'm Rival Jimmy and welcome to the ExtraDex, where I update previous episodes of the Dex with current information from Gen 6, 3 at a time. This week we're talking about Whimsicott, my boy Scrafty, and Metagross. Here we go. You may remember that my first ever appearance on the Dex was the Whimsicott episode with the counter strategy segment. Now I'm back to show you some new ways to use him. In Gen 6 he gains a fairy typing on top of his grass type, which opens up some interesting possibilities. The same set we talked about in the Dex is still totally usable, but with the extra resistances provided by the fairy type, Substitute is no longer completely necessary. Switch it out for the powerful stab fairy move Moonblast. This will keep you safe from Taunt, which forces you to use only attack moves and used to be the counter for Whimsicott. Round out the rest of this set with Leech Seed, Stun Spore, and Encore, the usual suspects for a powerful stalling set. Of course, your Whimsicott will need the ability Prankster to make this all work. It gives you priority for status moves. Kel's hand-tailored this set herself, so if you want a Whimsicott like hers, this is the way to go. Next up on the chopping block is my boy. I used to hate Scrafty, but after the episode we did on him, he weaseled his way into my heart, and now he's one of my favorite Pokemon. Looking back on the trivia, there may not be anything new, but there's definitely some stuff I can add to the Dex episode's Culture Shock segment. Alex and Kels fill this in all about how Scrafty is the embodiment of counterculture, being inspired by punk rock, hip-hop, and even the Zoot Suit movement, but perhaps it goes a little deeper than that. Scraggy, his pre-evolution, can be found in the desert in Unova. We know Unova is supposed to represent the United States of America in the Pokemon universe, so let's think for a moment about what deserts, America, and counterculture all have in common. Check this out. Look at the way Scrafty's hoodie hangs around his neck, and the wide stance to hold his baggy pants up, and even his sprite animation from Black and White. He appears to be chewing on something for just a moment. I almost expect him to spit into a jug in the corner. And he does a little hop, which bears a striking resemblance to the classic spaghetti western Yosemite Sam cowboy strut. Make the connection yet? Along with the various other groups he pulls from, Scrafty appears to draw design elements from classic Western outlaws. It's all there. The leather chaps, the bandana, references to chewing tobacco and walking with spurs. His dark typing can be connected to the fact that outlaws were people considered outside of the protection of the law. He even lives in the desert in a representation of the United States. It's crazy. See why this guy is one of my favorites? If not, you will in just a moment. Sweeper Scrafty is still an alright option, but a few staple changes in Gen 6 have shifted his role quite a bit. If you're still into the physical attacker set, give him High Jump Kick, Crunch, and Dragon Dance just like before, but I would suggest Poison Jab as his last move to deal with his ×4 weakness to fairies. Let's be real though, Bulky Scrafty is the way to go. Both of his defense stats sit at an admirable 115, so get a careful one and train it in HP and special defense. This allows him to take most special attacks with no problem at all. To cover everything else, you need Bulk Up. Bulk Up raises your attack and defense by 1 stage each, making you hit harder while taking physical attacks like a champ. Give him Leftovers to hold and use Rest to save yourself if you get dangerously low. Make sure his ability is Shed Skin. With this ability, you can safely use Rest without worrying because every turn Shed Skin has a 30% chance to cure status conditions. This also provides safety from huge threats such as Toxic and Will-O-Wisp. Your 2 attacking moves will be Drain Punch for even more staying power and the coup de grace of this set, Knockoff. Knockoff got a huge buff in Gen 6 to a whopping 65 base power. It removes the held item of the opposing Pokemon, and if it successfully does this, it gains a 50% damage boost. Not to mention it has Stab on Scrafty. This move is essential to crippling enemy walls or stalls that may try and bully you out. This set has a lot of versatility. Knockoff can force a switch, giving you time to bulk up and be harder to kill while fueling the strength of your Drain Punch for bigger heals. I've leveled teams with just the Scrafty alone. Seriously, this little guy is dope. I hate to follow up such an extensive section with something so short, but Metagross is last and there really isn't much to say here. The worst of it is that he loses his great typing in Gen 6 because Steel no longer resists Ghost or Dark, so there are plenty of checks and counters that can take him down now. One possible use for Metagross is as a direct check to the ever-present Gliscor. Get an Adamant one, give him Magnet Rise, Ice Punch, Meteor Match, and Agility, and train him in attack and HP. The idea is to switch in when Gliscor attempts to use Toxic. The Steel typing dismisses it no problem. Gliscor will almost definitely use Earthquake, which you can take a hit from with your good defense and HP. Use Magnet Rise on this turn to be safe from future Earthquakes. At this point, Gliscor has limited options, so you can bet on a switch. Now you set up with Agility while your opponent switches, giving you the edge to sweep with. Ice Punch is there on the chance that Gliscor stays. I know it's a risky strat, but since you're planning on getting hit by Earthquake, the Weakness Policy might be a good item for this set to round it all out. And that's it! Whimsicott, Scrafty, and Metagross. If you haven't yet, subscribe, and if you have anything to add, do so in the comment section down below. I'm Rival Jimmy, and this has been the ExtraDex. See you next week.